For my business, so it's kind of like a one-man show. It started off with me making the actual jewelry for the storefront. But I guess I do everything from creating the inventory for the store to including other artists for things that we don't personally make, like other accessories, to running just the back end part of the business and the website and the paperwork and everything itself. The nature of our business is we create handmade jewelry. We're an open storefront for all our one-of-a-kind pieces, as well as including other artists and vendors in our work as well. I guess when I was a child, I just always wanted to make stuff. I wanted to go diving and be in the ocean, and I wanted to be like Indiana Jones and find treasure, be like an archaeologist. So it's kind of cool. I think that this job that slowly, organically came to me is kind of all those things. I can still be really creative in nature, make items with my hands, and then also have like a place to display them. I learned to swim, I think, honestly, like before I can even remember. Probably the same time I was walking. And then my dad took me diving when I was very young, a couple years old. He would, take us diving when he went diving too. So, yeah, from a really young age. I did. I went to Cooper Union in New York City. My major is actually fine arts. So I guess after school, I've kind of done almost everything. I did a lot of freelance design work both in New York City as well as here. I taught scuba diving for a while to see if that's something I would want as an instructor. Um, I worked for a design company and later they needed like a operations manager for a museum. So I kind of wound up doing operations and then later had accounting under my belt. They were having me do accounting, and so I've kind of done a lot of different things. I went back to grad school for bio and pre-med for 2 years at UH. But yeah, I guess I've done kind of everything after graduating. So this job was kind of formulated organically from all the things I was doing. I was always diving for shells and finding items, and being from a fine art background, making sculptures or painting jewelry kind of came naturally to me to use found items in my jewelry and work. So this actually started off as I was going to grad school. I was continuously going to little marketplaces or shows or having other boutiques carry our jewelry, and it kind of grew organically from there. Maury carried us for a little while. And then Ward Warehouse asked if we wanted a pop-up shop at the old Ward Village, just as a trial run. That worked out really well too. So yeah, this job, I guess I didn't really just kind of open a store and decide to make all jewelry for it. It sprung out from like really organic nature. You know what? I feel like I was always making jewelry since I graduated college. It really, maybe in the last like 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So when I was like maybe 24, 25, kind of going back to grad school, that's kind of where this really got inspired and started going. I think everyone can enjoy our pieces. It would honestly, we have women, in all demographics, in all areas, and all ages, and then we even have like children and teenagers. So I don't think, and then some people just buy the jewelry. Even men buy our jewelry just for the stones or the craftsmanship, not something to wear. It's even just something unique to display and have. So yeah, I guess we don't have a specific target demographic. Starting any business, you have a lot of paperwork to keep up with, like registration of names and GE and all your tax filings. It gets even more complicated when you start to have employees too, um, with payroll and added expenses, workman's comp, insurance expenses, both for the business and liability, as well as for employees and staff members, and inventory. So that's a whole other job in itself too, is all the paperwork to upstart a company. But I think there's a lot more when you have an actual brick and mortar compared to something that's either online or kind of mobile. Oh no, it's just me. I make all the jewelry for the store. So that's a constant keep up too. That's like I feel like I'm always running three jobs. I'm doing like the paperwork part of it, and then the second part is actually creating the pieces, being like the artist that makes the jewelry. And the third part is also being I like being in the store too to see what customers are saying, or how people are responding to our items. I think it was 2016. We partnered with Mori. We went to one of their first, or one of our first art and flea events, and we brought a small table of jewelry, and everything sold. And Ali asked us if we wanted to put some of the jewelry in Mori. So we had it there for several months, or maybe over a year or so, and it did really well at Mori. I don't think there was a point at which we realized it was popular enough to be a store. I think Ward gave us the opportunity to have a 6 months pop up at Ward Warehouse. So that was kind of like just a test run to see if it didn't work out. It's okay, it's only a 6 month lease. But that worked out really well, so they offered us a lease here at the South Shore Market. The best part is you're doing what you love full time, and even if you're working more hours than a traditional job or a regular job, you know that you're creating something that matters to yourself, and your personal customers. I think it's really rewarding also meeting people that come in again and again for your items and take a value in pieces that you make. Probably the same thing. Is you're always working. There's never a break. It's continually, there's no boss to tell you you need to pick up slack or you need to do more of this. There's no one to keep you on track. So I think you have to be extremely self-motivated, um, and create your own timelines and be, I guess, aggressive enough to constantly be on top of what you're doing, and never allow yourself to take breaks, because there's no boss controlling what you're doing. It's going pretty okay. Yeah, I think everything is trial and error, and for any business, whether it's retail or food or anything, it takes a couple years to become established, as well as see like a good ROI in the first couple of years is very hard because you're putting all that money into upstarting it. Between if it's a brick and mortar, fixtures, decor, like expendables. It's very hard and challenging. So I think if you do start your own business, it has to be something you 110% believe in, and not just something on whim, because it does take a lot to not only start it but keep it going. I mean, it is nice to have no middleman between our inventory and what we actually put in the storefront. I think that's one way we do make it more profitable is I'm not paying a person to make our jewelry, then to put it in the storefront. It's direct to consumer, but then also our consumers can get the lowest possible price we can sell it for without having a middle person or vendor. You know what? I guess I never took like a formal class on how to make jewelry, but I was always making sculptures in college, like really large installments. Always working with my hands. I do a lot of like wood crafting, a lot of like painting. So I'm interested in the craftsmanship aspect of art, and I think jewelry making that was just an extension of all the art that I had been doing both in college and before. I mean, I think we're in like a really niche market in a time where most retail stores are closing up because of Amazon or online distributors like Sports Authority closing up or Toys R Us. I think we're in a very niche market where, in a world or a digital world where you can just click and order something online, there's something special about coming to a storefront and seeing something tangible. That's not only one of a kind, but something that can't be ordered online. So I think even in times where retail stores are kind of at a down point or closing up, I think we fulfill a small market when someone does want something handcrafted or handmade. But we actually do mostly just kind of like organic media and marketing. We use a lot of Instagram just to let our followers know what's new in the store, and then a lot of it is also self-generated too. It comes from users reposting items that they like. We don't really spend money on advertising unless it is something organically kind of grown. Luckily, we have a really good staff and base right now. I hire employees that have come to us and they're interested in not only working for us, but the items that we sell. So we have a lot of our staff members interested in either stones and the meanings and that stuff, or like shells, like they're divers and they understand how hard it is to find sea glass and shells. I have a lot of artists come to us because they appreciate the craftsmanship aspect of it. So we rarely put out help wanted ads. We have a really good database of people that we work with, but everyone has kind of come to us with different aspects of what they're interested in and how they can help our store, whether it be photography for like our media and online, like they have photo skills, or but everyone kind of like puts in fills like a piece of our puzzle of how we can make the store better. Generally, in the slow times, we have maybe 5 or 6. As the holidays come, we'll probably have uh, 10 or 11, 10 to 12. Last year, we had 2 stores going at the Ward Warehouse before it closed, and here too. So we had about, I'd say, 20 to 30 employees. A lot of people, we do have some full time, but we do have a lot of part time too. This is, they might work another job, and even if it's like an office job or something, this is a good way. A lot of people just want to get out and be able to talk to people too, so they choose a retail environment for that. I guess, I just love making the jewelry and being able to create art and have that be my job basically. So I guess just a self motivation from always creating something new or being inspired, making new pieces, and seeing how our customers and clients react to those pieces and appreciate the art. I think probably overworking is like it's definitely a strength. I'm always doing stuff for the store, whether it be like paperwork or making items or doing research, posting stuff online. But that also is a weakness too, because that means all my time is always focused on the store as well. It's good to also take a step back from the store and kind of realize, like to take breaks from everything as well. So I guess the worst advice is that you'll never make money in art. It's probably the worst advice. Um, Also, the worst advice I ever heard is do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life. Because I do what I love and I am always working and I love it. But whoever says do what you love and you'll never work, that's a complete lie. If you really love what you do, you'll be doing it a lot and working a lot harder. So that's like a really interesting question I'm always asking myself too. And I think I feel like my work is my life because it's from an artistic standpoint. So, but I think there's stuff that you need to balance your work life with, whether it be like a outdoor activity. I always jump in the ocean, that refreshes me. Going to yoga, just being like mindful as well, and not feeling stressed out, feeling like it's more of a an adventure to be making creative items for the store. I think if you're a creative person, it's hard to separate anything of your life from your work because you are your art. So I have a little dog. Yeah, that's about it. You know what? I actually didn't come to like this. Kind of just came naturally from everything. I never really foresaw this. Although, like when I was younger, like when I was a teenager or in college, I was always doing stuff on the side, like silk screening shirts and bringing them to like the Vans Warped Tour to sell it as like a 16-year-old, or like making stuff to sell or resell as like a even like a teenager or like in college too, or doing graphic design, like helping friends start new companies. Like it was kind of always something I never thought as a job, but something I was always doing. So yeah, I never saw this as like something a life decision. Yeah, it was never. It just kind of came from everything I was doing already. I think way more. I think everyone has this like idea that being an entrepreneur or your own boss is very cushy because you get to decide everything. But I think there's extra stress margins because it's all up to you, and it can. There's a lot more risk involved when you work for another company and that company fails. That's not your specific fault. Same with going a job for the government, they can tell you what your job duties are. You're not creating them, or um, their success isn't based on one person managing everything. So only start it if it's something you're truly passionate about, and something that you feel like is worth working all the time for. Because there's a lot of people that start businesses or brands or companies that are on whim that they're not wholeheartedly into, and they think it's really easy. They're like, oh yeah, just open a store and put some shirts in there, that'll sell and we'll do really well. If you're not constantly on top of your product or your marketing or designing new items, and you're not invested in all that, it's not even worth starting it because there's so much time and money and commitment to, you're basically going all in for a lot of like startups or companies. So if you don't feel like you can put um, all your time, all your money into something that you care about, I'd say it's not even worth trying if you're not passionate about what you're doing. You know what? It's kind of just been moving in a very organic direction. Um, so I think we're just like kind of like an upward trajectory. We're trying to put a lot more stuff online now. We're trying to do maybe more stuff on the mainland as well, like festivals, be in other boutiques on the mainland to share our jewelry. So yeah, it's all just kind of like trajectory is just very upwards and onwards. Kind of still doing our own thing, same thing that we've been doing, but reiterations of it. I think I just like to look back on that I was always doing something that kept me active as an artist and creating. I think that's most important for me as well. A great resource I had when starting is like Maury and Art and Flea, and kind of a group of other artists and designers that had also been trying to get a brand started. It was good to have a database of people to know that are creative. I don't know. I think it's even better now, like through working and meeting even more people in the industry and even outside the industry. I think that network has even grown, and I've had more resources available to me, knowing even more creative people in the industry.